Hi, this is Amanda from the Paisley Hummingbird. This is going to be a first, hopefully, of many. I'm going to do an energy reading for the month of November. And then hopefully every month I'll do an energy reading, and I hope to get it to you on the first of the month in future. This is the first one I've done, so bear with me, and I hope that you enjoy it. So I've already drawn the cards. And the energy reading will be a generic reading, so it has to cover a whole lot of range of people. So what you need to do is you need to think about and use your intuition to see how it pertains to what's going on in your life at the moment. But this reading is the general energy of the month. Today I am using the Messenger Oracle by Raven Phelan. I hope I've pronounced that right. They're beautiful, beautiful cards. I'll put a picture up of the spread here because when I hold them up to the camera, they come back out backwards. The artwork in these cards is absolutely beautiful. Okay, so let's get to it. The first two cards that I'm going to talk about today are what the general energy is. And we have a card that is, we have two cards. One card is Let Two Become One. So this card is talking about if you're in a relationship, it's time to be vulnerable. It's time to let your partner know who you really are and to do the same for them. And not be afraid of any consequences in that it's the right energy for this month where you can be open and loving and accept openness and loving from your partner. The second card is about nourishing the soul. So this is about our lives are supposed to be very sensory. So we're supposed to experience life not just with the visual, but with smell and touch and taste and sound. And very often we just go through life just using a couple of those senses and not really tasting our food or smelling our flowers in our garden or hearing the sound of the ocean. So this card this month is saying to you, you need to start connecting basically. And when we really, really connect with what's going on around us, with the people around us, and with the things that are happening around us, we really nourish our soul. We feel that connection to the earth. We feel that connection to spirit. And that's really what these cards are asking of you this month. Okay, so our second lot of cards gives us a little bit more detail into the energy of the month. And we've got two cards here. One is Observe in Silence, and the other one, excuse me, is Make the Sacrifice. Now, the observe in silence is taking a step back. Even though I've just told you that you need to nourish your soul and experience life through all the senses, that's great, but you don't need to be the life of the party to actually do that. And in fact, you will have a better experience if you don't become the life of the party. Because not only do we have those senses, but we also still have sight, which is the main sense that we all use. So what this is asking for you is to just take a step back this month and observe in silence. Don't feel that you need to have to put your point of view across every time some subject comes up that you have an opinion about. And there's no need to talk about what you're doing. There's no need to talk about your experiences. If you want to talk about them, journal them, or just share them with your loved one. But it's basically saying, take a step back from social media, basically, which is rather ironic since I'm advertising this video on social media. But what it's saying is, we don't need to put our lives on display all the time. Enjoy those moments, enjoy that nourishment of the soul, and keep it to yourself or just share it with a few close friends and family, people that you trust. The other card is about making sacrifice. So this is saying, this month we want you to go out and experience life. okay? We want you to smell the ocean, or the smell of a really well-cooked meal coming from, the kitchen, or the smell of your loved one's hair after they've had a shower, or the breath of a newborn baby. There's so many things that we can experience that we just don't because we rush through life. So this card, Make the Sacrifice, is saying you need to make the sacrifice. You need to make an intention that you're going to do this and do it. If you don't do it, then you will have no joy in your life, or different joy, I should most probably say. What it's saying is that if you think about things and you want things to happen, unless you get off your butt and you actually do them, they're not going to come forward for you. You need to act on these things. And I was only saying to someone the other day that in a book I wrote a few years ago called The Joy Directive, there was a directive that was set that basically said it's okay to have your head in the clouds as long as your feet are on the ground. And basically what this is saying is that you can spend all day meditating and doing intention work and visualizing and all that sort of stuff. But if you don't have your feet on the ground, if you don't take note of the signs and the guidance and the messages that are coming in and the opportunities that are brought before you, if you don't take action on those things, then the things that you think about when you've got your head in the clouds will not come to fruition. So this is what this card is also talking about. It's saying make the sacrifice. When your friend calls you and says, do you want to come for a walk? The sunset's really beautiful today. Don't think about, I really want to watch Neighbours, or actually Neighbours isn't on anymore, is it? I really want to watch Home and Away. Turn the bloody TV off and go for that walk with your friend. You will be so glad you did. So that's more detail on what the energy of this month requires from you. And you don't have to do this. You can turn this video off and totally ignore it. But if you want to get in touch with your inner spirit, if you want to nourish your soul, which is what we should always be doing, but in particular for this month, then listen to what these cards are telling you and try and bring some of this into your life. Now, the next set of cards are the challenges you may face. So we've got hear the ancient ones and embrace the dark. Okay, so if you're Indigenous, you would know a lot about hearing the ancient ones or listening to the elders, the stories that are passed down from generation to generation to generation that tell your story, that tell you how your culture was developed, that tell you how the earth was made. These are stories and legends and myths and anecdotes about our past. And whether you believe they're true or not, you need to listen to them, because we are at a junction in our development where we need to get back to basics. We need to start living with compassion. We need to start living with love. We need to start embracing the simpleness of life and going back and listening to the stories from your culture, or if you don't feel you have a culture, if you're in Australia, the Indigenous culture is so interesting, and I highly recommend that you search out stories or an Indigenous friend and speak to them about their cultures, because it's really, really interesting. But this is going to be a challenge for you. You need to do the research. You won't be able to sit in your armchair. You'll need to go out and experience it for yourself once you've learned about these things. So this is what is going to be a challenge for you. Also, the other challenge for you is embracing the dark. We all avoid our shadow side. I know I do all the time. It's the side of you that you don't like. And it's often taught to us that that your shadow side is a bad side, right? Your dark side. It's, just the word dark has negative connotations. But that's not true, because without our dark side, we would never experience our light side. Without happiness, there is no without sadness, sorry, there is no happiness. We need dark so that we can experience light. Yin and yang, the moon and the sun energy, you know, they're just, they go together. You can't have one without the other. So this month, your challenge is to look at your dark side or your shadow side and maybe do some work, good journaling work, maybe do a write and burn intention work where you write down the things that you don't like about yourself and ask to be released of them, or ask to have the opposite come in. So if you find that you're very jealous, maybe write that you now release the jealousy that you feel and you invite compassion and love into your life, and then you just burn that and release it. Make sure you do it in a very fire safe way, I might add, especially if you're in Australia, as we come into our long hot summer. And then once the ashes are all cold and cool, bury it, take it back to earth. So that releases it, that releases that shadow side to you. And let's face it, you're never going to not have a shadow side. There will always be things about ourselves that we don't like. But this month is a challenge for you to maybe work on one or two of those things that you really don't like about yourself. And most of all, appreciate them. Be thankful that you have them so that you know that you can experience the opposite of what they are. Okay, we're now on to the last two cards of the reading, which are the help that is coming from spirit. So when I talk about spirit, I'm not talking about past loved ones or about ghosts or anything like that. I'm talking about your inner spirit. I'm talking about ascended masters, angelic help, the higher self, the super consciousness, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about spirit. Okay. So this is the help that's coming in for you if you choose to accept it from spirit for this month. Okay, the first one is embrace the masculine. And then the second one is wash away your burdens. Okay, so embracing your masculine. Obviously, if you're male, you embrace your masculine quite a bit. But there are a lot of us, and this video will most probably be watched mostly by women or people who have a feminine energy. So this month, you're being asked to embrace more of your masculine energy. And we all have it, whether we are born male or female, we all have masculine and feminine energy. So what we want to do is we want to embrace more of that more of that masculine energy. Be more assertive, be more energetic. Masculine energy has always been associated with more energy type movement, more physical movement, whereas feminine energy is softer, subtler, more mindful and inwards. So masculine is more extroverted. So maybe push yourself to be a bit more, extroverted in your day-to-day life. However, I must state that to get in touch with your masculine side, you need to also remember that you can be assertive without being aggressive. You can be dominant without being aggressive once again. You need to temper your masculine energy with your feminine energy. In the tarot, there is a card, I think it's number 8, it's called Strength. And it's usually a woman patting a lion's head. And this is saying you have strength, but it is a slow, soft strength that comes through, not that bull in a china shop type strength. And that is the type of masculine energy that you need to show this month, or that will come through for you if you let it. Okay, the second card is wash away your burdens. And this is about letting go of those things that drag you down. You know, that mean thing that you said to your friend when you were in 5th grade that you think about still after all of this time. Let these things go. Ask Spirit to wash these burdens away from you. because without the burdens, you are a higher vibration. Therefore, you are more able to pick up on the signs and the messages and the guidance and the opportunities and the situations and the people and etc., that will come into your life to help move you forward. None of us are perfect. I am highly flawed. Just ask my family. But we all have the ability to reach above those burdens that we give ourselves, that our family give us, that the media give us. Let them go. So this month, if you want to let go of some of those burdens, ask Spirit for help. Ask them for guidance on how to let it go. And even a great way of doing this, hop in the shower. Let the water run over your head, down through your feet, and imagine that murky energy of burdens washing away through the bottom of your feet and down into the plug and out in through the sewage system, gone forever into the ether. Another thing that you can do to release burdens, if you're attached to someone who is highly toxic to you, cut the cord. Just this, move your hands, and then in front of your belly button, cut the cord. Release them with love. I don't need you in my life anymore. I don't need the guilt that you give me in my life anymore. I release you. So just ask for help, ask for guidance, and you will be helped. You will be given the guidance, but you have to be open to it. And for this month, they're up for helping you be a little bit more masculine in your energy, and to help you wash away your burdens. And now these two cards are rather fitting, because usually when we need to release burdens or guilt or resentment or whatever it is that we're holding on to that are keeping us down, that are actually physically manifesting as diseases or ailments within our physical body, when we release these, we actually need a bit of that masculine energy to release them, because we need to be quite assertive with our shadow side, saying that we no longer want this in our life. We no longer accept this in our life, and we need to release it and let it go. So these cards go very well together. So that's it. I hope you liked this reading of the energy for November. It's going to be a pretty chilled month, I find, unless you're really dragging up some really heavy stuff as far as your dark side or your burdens are going. But yeah, I can see it being quite a loving, compassionate month. Not just you showing compassion, but people showing compassion to you. So be open to connecting with your partner if you have one. Be open to being vulnerable. Be open to experiencing life. And you'll have a great, great month. So anyway, thanks for being here with me. And stay tuned on my social medias for other type videos coming your way, and for other weekly readings and things like that. And I will see you soon. Bountiful blessings. Bye.